There is about 70 different types of greys. The greys are on average 3 to 6 feet tall, but some grow up to 7 to 8 feet tall. According to some sources, the greys are also considered reportoids having reptilian DNA. We Anunnaki genetically modified the royal line of greys, known as Zetas, Rimardians, with human DNA to look more human. These greys were installed as kings and pharaohs, by us, throughout mankind's history. The greys who are inducted into the Orion program, otherwise known as Orion Greys, are under the direction of the Cabal, which is a race of Draco-reptilians that often engaged in abductions and experimentations. The Greys, however, are originally known as Rimardians, who are a benevolent and curious race, when not indoctrinated. They are thought to be more helpful in humanity's spiritual progression. The relationships between reportoids and greys are very strained, as the reportoids, on their goal of conquering planets, have enslaved the greys. The oldest race of greys come from the Ida galaxy. They are called the Asgards. They go back about 200 billion years. They didn't look like this at first, they looked more humanoid with blue or green skin. Their bodies are muscular and have a hump in the middle of their head. They were 5 feet tall with no hair. They have 9 leaders, but the main captain name is Thor. They created an advanced machine to upgrade their shell or bodies, and this created a disease. They were later taught about cloning and transferring of essence to the clone or avatar. They created these muscle-bound shells that were 7 feet tall. They later started making smaller clones that were 4 to 5 feet tall. We taught them about cloning when we lived with them in the Ida galaxy. Because of this, the Asgards love us, the Rizkians. They feel like they owe us a favor. Plus they needed us to ascend. So they help us time to time when we need them. They live in the 5th dimension. Their ships are some of the best on this side of the universe. They can fly 1,000 times the speed of light in the 6th. They help us to protect planets, star systems, and galaxies. They are about 1 million years ahead of humans in technology. They are not really who you're calling the Greys. We left them and went to Pegasus, but they remained our long-term friends. When we moved to the Milky Way, we Rizkins needed a race of beings who were able to go to far-away galaxies and planets to observe and to research. We breathe hydrogen and couldn't go to planets, which had different types of conditions that were not good for us without having on equipment or being in our ships. So we created a new race called the Rimardians. They are the Guardians. This is a picture of their leader Krill, who is 7 feet tall. The first group was created on Nibiru in the laboratory called Shimti. We later moved this lab to the planet Lamua, which you Earth humans call Mars. We begin creating them there. This is why they are called Rumardians and the bad ones are called Markabians. Some Greys came from the star constellation of Auriga in the Capella star formation, and some from Arcturus and Pleiades. Krill and his people have a base in Capella and Elnith. They were created originally by us, the Anunnaki, to be scouts and were faithful workers that were freed after their service. The reptilians captured them and ruled them from Rigel and Betelgeuse, Beltrax, Mentaka, Alanum, and Alitak in the Orion star constellation. The first 200 was created on Nibiru, and we use these to start the cloning on Mars 30 billion years ago. Krill is the leader of the Rimardians Greys from Zeta, son of Haniel. The Rimardians are the ones who pilot the wheel, which the messenger Elijah Muhammad called the mother plane. This is Imardian, Krill's first cousin, a prominent leader. He is an original 7 feet gray. He has over 100 million beings under him. He is the leader of the Imartians and the Solipsiri Greys, also called the Emirthur, a 22 billion year old race from the constellation of Cygnus. Cygnus A is at a distance of 730 million light years from Earth. Cygnus is a northern constellation on the plane of the Milky Way, deriving its name from the Latinized Greek word for swan. Cygnus is one of the most recognizable constellations of the northern summer and autumn, and it features a prominent asterism known as the Northern Cross. These are the Greys that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico on July 7, 1947. Imartian came to Earth himself to collect the bodies. He was recorded and filmed at Area 51. These people didn't want to give Amartyan back his people without Amartyan giving them the secret to their technology. Area 51 and S4 secret government bases hidden in the desert of Nevada. 1947, when a spaceship crash-landed on the Foster Ranch outside of Roswell, New Mexico. In the crash, 2 aliens were killed, while a third was seriously injured. The crashed ship, the 2 bodies and the injured alien were brought to a U.S. Air Force installation outside of Rachel, Nevada called Homey Airport, which became later known as Area 51. The survivor died within a matter of weeks. This is when Amartyan came to collect the bodies and the craft, but was refused by the secret government. Over the next 49 years, scientists at Area 51 studied the vessel and the alien corpses. However, none of the technology of the ship could be accessed. The Solapsurai Greys are very intelligent and non-emotional beings. The Solapsurai are a peaceful and harmless race that have no colonies and focus more on the development of other planets and races. They do, however, have one powerful weapon to protect themselves from invaders and is capable of destroying entire ships. They have also stated that the human race still has 645 options for the future of their planet, with the correct options depending on their ability to develop space travel and to unite as one. The 200 original were 7 feet tall and the masters of the little ones. We made these beings from other beings who were some of the first reptilians called Meldekians. They were water beings who lived on a planet called Meldek before it was destroyed 24 billion years ago by Nibiru. We took DNA from these reptilians on Meldek to help with the breeding of the Remardians. The Masmukiya beings are an intelligent life form that have advanced cities underwater. The troglodyte are 4 feet and their masters, the Meldekians, are 7 feet. Their masters lived on the planet Meldek until the mothership Nibiru crashed into it, killing 2/3 of the population. Their planet was destroyed by mistake and blew up. The warrior clan called the Ninga, or Ninja as in Ninja Turtles. If you look close, you can clearly see that they look like turtles without a shell. These beings survived and went to live on Earth in the Bermuda Triangle underwater, where they built advanced cities. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where a number of aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. They later were given their own star system called Zeta Reticuli, which was built by us as a gift to them for destroying their planet and wiping out 2/3 of their people. From the 200 original Remardians, Krill being the first. We begin cloning and making smaller clones to be helpers for the 200 masters. Krill is first in command, Alamar second, and Sod third. Krill is the lord of these 200 masters. Each master has millions of smaller clones working under them. These smaller clones were created on Mars. They are the first Martians. This is the type most commonly referred to as the Greys. They come from the Zeta Reticuli star system, the Barnard star, neighboring the Orion area. They function in a mode that is apparently military in nature, with a rigidly defined social structure that holds science and conquering worlds to be the prime movers. They have evolved beyond the need for reproductive systems or digestive systems and reproduce by cloning. Their genetics are partly based on the Meldekians and the insectoid genetics. These beings are the little beings. These are what the government is calling gray aliens. They stand 4 feet tall, weigh about 40 pounds, human-like with smooth gray-colored skin, enlarged hairless heads, and large black eyes with no eyelids. They have 5 fingers. Some have 4 or 3 fingers. Originally bred by us to scout different worlds. The small ones have been seen by billions of people. Gray aliens, also referred to as Zeta Reticuli, they are extraterrestrial beings who live in the 5th dimension. The original breed are benevolent. These beings were later captured and reverse engineered by the Draco reptilians. You have about 70 to 72 different species now of Greys. The body of Greys is more or less considered a vessel for higher dimensional beings to act in a lower density environment like the Earth. The high being can leave or invade this vessel according to their will, much like an avatar. It is mostly designed to be a tool, for example, to steer spaceships, like an interface between an higher dimensional being and a machine. This is a Grey, the government named J-Rod, who worked at Area 51 for over 50 years. He is from a race called the Eben Greys from Zeta Reticulum. They are a spin-off the Solipsi Greys. His ship crashed on Earth in 1953 during a magnetic storm. Ebens are from the Zeta Reticuli star group, a binary system having two suns together. Their height ranges from 3.4 to 3.8, with some exceptions. Their skin is more of a tan and butterscotch blend in color, and like most Zetas, they wear black lens protection over their slightly protruding round eyes. In 1965, the US government entered into a program referred to as Project Serpo, which was an exchange program in which 12 humans and 12 Ebens exchanged planets to learn more about the planet and its inhabitants. J-Rod was head of this project at Area 51. He was forced to work with the secret government, who claimed to be helping him with a disease he and his people were suffering from. He was to assist the Earth scientists with knowledge of aliens and their crafts. J-Rod is actually a visitor from the future. Several Grey species would be descendants from mankind, and they would now be visiting you from the future to so-called correct some mistakes that ultimately will have a negative impact on the possibility of the future Grey humans to survive. Some Greys are like plants and eat by photosynthesis. Their food is water and sunlight. Their big black eyes are like solar panels. Their body is an advanced suit. They take in sunlight through their eyes. The Remardians is one of these races. Some Greys can't do this because ultraviolet light is harmful to them. Some Greys have multiple stomachs like cows. They chew their cud, but they don't eat it by mouth. They absorb it through their skin. These are the Markabian Greys from Orion. This is Iwas, is from a race of Greys who are malevolent demon, bad angel, bad ET disagreeables. He is the being who taught Crowley. He worked for Baal II in command of Hell Low 4th dimension. They chose to fight with the dragon and his people. They are a branch of Markabians from Orion called Iwasians. They are Markabians Greys who are controlled by reptilians. Iwas, the leader of the Markabians, wears a padded advanced suit and a glitter cape made from some type of advanced material. He is feminine looking, his expression is also difficult to ascertain, having a mix of happiness, sadness, grief, and anger, and is referred to as having emotions completely different to humans. Iwas judges things on whether it has value or not. Iwas has a casual way of talking, making interjections such as oops as well as swearing. Iwas also talks in a way that includes terms and sounds which are distorted when